This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
Hello, my beautiful friend. Welcome to A Time to Care the Caregivers podcast. I'm Isabel Melgarejo, your host. And today I have a question for you. Have you ever dealt with mental health? I know I have dealt with mental health issues. If you are, or if you haven't dealt with mental health issues, I think you should join. Let's get started. I think I have mentioned this in the past here in the podcast. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure I have shared with you that I recently connected with a lot of friends from high school, and eventually that group became very toxic. I just kept talking with friends that I made during high school, and I had disconnected for whatever reason, time, basically. And a lot of us moving to different places and living far away. This group has become a safe haven for all of us. We come to this group and we talk and we support each other. We know that we're not going to be judged for whatever we do or we're going through. The most important thing is that we are going to get support from this group of friends. Either if we're going through whatever we're going through, either if it could be a health issue, a mental health issue, good news, whatever it is, the rest of the group is going to be there for us. And I think this is a great gift. I honestly think that it's a great gift because I don't think all people have a space in which they feel safe. If you haven't found that place in which you feel safe, I would highly encourage you to look for a space where you can feel that way because, believe me, it is a game changer. But I'm not talking about that today. I am talking about mental health. And a few days ago, one of these friends asked and mentioned that we had all gone through some kind of mental health issues. Some had been harder, some had been easier to go through, some had required medications, and one of these a couple of them have required medication to go through their processes. And I don't know, probably more of them have required medication to go through their mental health issues. Some have been momentarily or have left them after a while. Some know that they will have to deal with mental health issues for the rest of their lives. There's nothing to do about it. But this is a safe place for all of us. We love it. We all love being part of this conversation and being part of this group because we feel safe. Today, I want to talk to you about mental health issues. A few days ago, from the day that I'm recording this, was Mental Health Awareness Day. And I didn't want to let this day go by. I didn't record this on time, but you know that I never record anything on time. I talk about New Year goals in March, and then I talk about Christmas in October. So you know that I never follow a schedule. I just thought it was important to talk about these topics. And one of the things that it is important to talk about mental health, is that we don't talk enough about it. We think that if we have a mental health issue, we're crazy and we should be sent to away. And usually away means in a setting for a horror movie. That's what we think. We think that these places for crazy people belong to horror movies. I think that has a lot to do with the stories that we play in our heads and all of the crazy stuff that has happened in these places. So we just prefer not saying. Historically, so many people have gone through so much trauma just because they were considered crazy or out of balance or whatever it was. And we have all these examples throughout history. How many women were burnt or killed because of mental health issues? A lot throughout history. We have probably a collective trauma that has been there for who knows how long, that we're just afraid of accepting that we're going through a tough time. Let me tell you something. We all go through tough times that challenge our mental well-being. And if you haven't, I don't believe you. I honestly don't. Maybe you've never had the need to get medication for your mental health issues. Maybe you've never had the need to get specialized care. But if you're listening to this, I'm pretty sure you've lived tough situations in your life. You've probably dealt with grief. You've probably been sad because you lost something or someone. We all deal with grief. We deal with grief since the moment that we're born. There's some ways of grieving that it's just there. We manage to move along and pass through those times, but we still have loss. And that is part of our lives. So I think we have all dealt with mental health issues. And today I want to invite you to love you for going through those challenges. I honestly don't want to tell you what to do because I'm not going to change your mind one way or another. I think you're going to think whatever you want to regarding your life. But I want to acknowledge you and I want to cheer you up because I know the challenges that you're going through are tough. I know that it's not easy going through life and sometimes facing so many challenges. And life can be tough. Life can be kind of funny if you see it in perspective. When life puts us in a challenged situation, we go through so many challenges at the same time. When I moved to Texas, I left my family, my friends, my business, my everything. I left absolutely everything back home. So I was dealing with a lot of grief and loss. And then COVID. So that was more grief and loss. And then I couldn't find a job. And that was more grief and loss. It was just one thing after another. My very loved uncle passed away. There were so many things happening at once. And if I see that with perspective, I see that everything happened within a year's time. And I find that's funny, curious, because when we are challenged, we are not just challenged with one thing, we're challenged with one thing after another. And maybe you remember Carol's podcast a couple of months ago, just her resilience of going through being a full-time caregiver for her mom, her husband committing suicide, and then losing all of her pets. Life tested her so hard, with one thing after another after another. And I can sit here the rest of the afternoon narrating stories about how all these people go through challenges. And usually those challenges come several at a time. And you have to deal with all of them. And they put a strain on our mental health. So today, I want to invite you and I want to congratulate you and I want to cheer you up. Because whatever you're going through, there's someone out there who's also going through a lot at the same time as you are. And if anything, you are here today and you're able to reach out there to find a group that supports you and loves you and will be there no matter what. And that's the only thing that I wish for you. I wish that you can find the right place and the right people to connect, to cherish and to love, and to just be there for one another. And if you're willing to be that person for somebody else, if you're willing to be there unconditionally for your loved ones, to open that safe space for someone without judging, without overanalyzing, without criticizing, just opening the space and making it safe for somebody else. I'm pretty sure that somebody else will be there for you. And if you think that nobody else in this world will open that space, that safe space that you deserve for yourself, then I am here for you. And I want to hear from you. So just go to my calendar and schedule some time. It is free. We can have a fantastic call like many that I've had lately with wonderful people. I want to hear from you. So go ahead, schedule some time with me, and I'll see you next week.
This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time.